Well, it is the first day of February 2020. Thank you so much for joining us. You're watching NTV at 1. My name is Zeynab Ismail. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta is today expected at Wanguru Stadium in Mwea, Kirinyaga County to address the state of rice farming, including a recent directive to allocate some 660 million shillings to buy surplus rice from farmers. The president will then proceed to Meru County, where he will launch the Jangeta new KCC milk processing plant. And our NTV's Melita Oletenges is currently on standby for that report. We will be joining him in just a moment to give us more details of that expected visit from the president. And even as that happens, we have other stories making headlines, and Nairobi County's Mama Ngina Lucy Hospital is being accused of medical negligence in a case that has left a woman who went in after a motorcycle accident with more complications. Faith Mutinda says that a month after her surgery, her situation has worsened and she now wants doctors at the facility to correct the problem. Leila Mohammed has more.
Faith Mutinda goes about her daily chores, but unlike before, she cannot do much as her mobility has been slow due to an injury on her right leg. Her troubles began in November of 2019 when she was involved in a motorcycle accident within the industrial area of Nairobi and was rushed to the Mama Lucy Hospital.
Kuna mahali palikuwa pamekatwa, palikuwa pamekatika, nikaenda nikashonwa pale Mama Lucy. Niliposhonwa nilipelekwa pia kwa plaster, nikawekewa plaster, nikatoka nikarudishwa kwa nyumba.
While recuperating at home, she says that the pain became too much to bear. Even though she took the medication given to numb the pain, she sought help at a different hospital.
Nikawaelezea mguu inauma sana na nasikia ni kama kuna kitu. Hapo walinituma kwa x-ray, nikaenda nikafanywa x-ray. X-ray yao ikasema hakuna kitu. Lakini daktari akishika mguu akaniambia kuna kitu na inaonekana iliachwa nikishonwa. Hapo akaniambia niende nikuje siku ingine ya Monday.
But the fee to get the service there, she claims, was too high. She is now back to where she was a month ago. Each passing day is a struggle, she says.
Madaktari waliwacha kisu kwa ni item ambao hatujui ni item gani kwa mguu, na tunataka haki itendeke, atolewe, maisha yake yarudi kawaida.
Mama Lucy Hospital has declined to comment on the case despite several attempts by our journalists. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
Well, a very unfortunate incident. Then, of course, we'll be keeping a very close eye on the developments. Now, the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union has cautioned governors in the 47 counties for being hostile to health workers. KMPDU Secretary General Dr. Omar Oluga says health practitioners in counties are facing several challenges. Rose Madhuku has more.
While addressing the press in West Pokot County, Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union has called on governors to foster a good working relationship with health workers in all the 47 counties.
We have had a lot of complaints. Sometimes the county government has been a bit hostile in the public, blaming workers for things that are not in their making.
Dr. Oluga cited a case of a nurse at a dispensary in West Pokot who he claims was unfairly sacked.
But I think it is also not right that a manager or a leader is always abusing workers, is always sacking people. I think it also shows that you are not a very good leader.
The KMPDU Secretary General notes that the county has a shortage of doctors, therefore called on the county government to employ more medical personnel so as to improve health services in the county. Rose Mathuku, NTV.
Well, police in Karagoya area of Kirinyaga County have arrested the parents of a 15-year-old girl who was married off to her 20-year-old lover instead of being enrolled to Form 1. The girl who was also arrested is said to have refused to join high school. Ruth Sarmwei has that report.
The minor, who was supposed to join a secondary school in Kirinyaga, failed to show up for admission despite the January 24th deadline. The chief informed the police, who then stormed the house they were living in with her 20-year-old boyfriend in Kerugoya town. The teenager and the partner were also arrested.
Toto wa miaka 16 hawezi kuwa na consent. Hawezi kuwa na consent ati afanye mambo yale anataka. Hata akifanya, sheria inasema umri wake au mruhusu.
Ombi letu ni kwamba aweze kuruhusiwa aingie katika darasa la kwanza. Sawa alikuwa anakataa kuingia, sasa ako ndani.
Another girl who was impregnated after finishing her KCPE examinations was enrolled in high school as a move to encourage the children to focus on education.
Tumesema namna hii, mimba sio ugonjwa. Mimba ni condition. So wale wote ambao wako na mimba wataingia shule. Siku ya kusaa ikifika atakuja apate mtoto arudi su.
Speaking during the issuance of bursaries in Kirinyaga Central, where 20 million shillings were given to benefit needy children in the society, the MP urged parents to support their children's dreams and enroll them to schools. Ruth Sarmoi, NTV.
Anyway, from that, DCI detectives have arrested 3 police officers in Athi River Sub-County for impersonating the National Intelligence Service and Interpol officers on a special operation. Constable Regan Otieno Oyugi of the DCI in Limuru, alongside George Obonyo Orwa and Calvin Nyaure, were arrested while on board a motor vehicle registration KAJ 934L. Detectives searched the vehicle and recovered 1 loaded mini Seska pistol, a pair of handcuffs, a mobile phone resembling a police pocket phone, 2 fingerprint slabs and a rubber stamp. Other items found were 10 renewal firearm certificates and 1 civilian firearm. The suspects have been taken into custody pending further investigations. Farmers in Ngugi area in Kitui County are counting losses after desert locusts invaded their farms and destroyed the yield. Some of the locusts have been killed by aerial spraying exercise by the government. It is reported that the government had to change the pesticides they have been using, claiming that it is not as effective. Esther Mutua, a farmer in the area, lamented that the locusts destroyed 20 acres of her plantation. Many farmers now want the government to help them get back on their feet, as this is their source of livelihood.
Kumeisha kwa shamba, hakuna kitu hata nini, kila kitu imekuliwa. Ndengu, mbosho na vitu hata siwezi sema, ni ile uchungu niko nayo mimi.
Kuna shamba iko na chakula, kuchakuliwa yote njana. Na iko mingi sana katika area hii. Hata inakubia huko na ingine watu kuba iko hai. Na sasa tunauliza serikali ikuye isaidie watu wote wale iko pande hii.
Now, 4 bodies of persons who disappeared in Kwale County within the months of November and December last year has been discovered in Tsavo National Park. The condition of the bodies exhibited signs of torture, including burns, gagging and strangulation. NTV's Bill Otieno now joins us live from Makueni County with an update. Bill, what more details can you get us from this?
Well, thank you very much, studio. I'm actually live at Kibwezi in Makueni County, and of course we're following up on the story about the bodies of the missing people since last year, and of course in a span of 3 months, it has been discovered that 4 bodies were being dumped in Tsavo National Park, and these 4 bodies were 2 of them were discovered in 14th of January this year. Then one other body was discovered on 20th of January this year, as another one was discovered just the other day on 30th of January this year. Well, I've been following up this story since yesterday when we got the idea that there was a body that was found in Tsavo West National Park, and it had bruises as a sign of torture. And this body was taken to Kwale County, and as we are talking in Makindu, we are having the families of the rest of 3 bodies trying to come up with an affidavit with assistance of Haki Africa, amongst other humanitarian agencies. Now, from now, we'll be going there, and this is what I'll be giving you later in our subsequent bulletin. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Bill Otieno. Then, of course, sticking to that particular report, he'll be bringing us more details, like you said. But just going back to our earlier story, President Uhuru Kenyatta is expected at Wangori Stadium in Mwea, that is in Kirinyaga County, to address the state of rice farming, which include a recent directive to allocate some 660 million shillings to buy surplus rice from farmers. The president will then proceed to Meru County, where he will launch the Jangeta new KCC milk processing plant. And like I said, Melita Oletenges is following up on that report and is joining us live from Kirinyaga County. Tenges, a very good afternoon to you. Has the president arrived so far?
Yeah, Zeynab, the presidential choppers just landed about 30 minutes ago. We understand that the president has already toured the Mwea rice mills. This is where the rice from the Mwea paddies are processed. And of course, the main agenda here today, Zeynab, is that the president has come to address issues revolving around rice farming, rice buying and selling. And of course, this is in connection to the 660 million shillings that the president promised and directed the Treasury to allocate farmers money that will be channeled through the Kenya National Trading Corporation to ensure that rice is bought directly from farmers. This, of course, is through government institutions. They will be buying rice from farmers. So far, we're expecting the president to arrive here any minute from now. We've seen a number of leaders who have arrived here. I've seen the women representative for Kirinyaga, Ngereshi. I've also seen a number of leaders. I've also seen the CAS, Rachel Shebesh here. And of course, the security here is very tight. In the morning, there are reports that people had to be checked. Frisking here that is very being taken seriously here. And of course, just to get how the farmers are going to benefit from this, I'd like to speak to the area member of parliament, Mwea member of parliament, Washira Kavinga. Thank you so much for joining us here. It is a relief for farmers. Tell us how this is going to benefit them as from everywhere in the county.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I want to thank the president for finding time during these early stages of the year to come and visit us here. You realize that rice farming started in 1958, and all along rice farming has not been taken care of, and we want to really thank the president because he has directed a lot of efforts into uplifting the welfare of the people who do rice farming in Mwea and in Kenya in general. What has been happening is that most of the times when we have this rice produce, people would bring rice from outside and then all the prices would go down, and our farmers have never ever benefited from the farming. But as we are talking now, because of this money that the president directed to come to Mwea and Kano, we will be having the buying of rice to go to various institutions in the government. That means then that the prices of rice to the farmers will be much higher than what they have been getting. That means now we are able to get money into the farmers' pockets, and we really want to thank the government for this. We will be working with the Kenya National Trading Corporation to ensure that this money becomes a revolving fund where they buy rice, they go and sell, they come again with the same money and they go and sell. And we will be very keen in making sure that this money is spent as intended, because the president means well to us and we really want to thank him. We will be very keen in looking at the institutions that are handling this money to ensure that this becomes a success. It's the first time we are seeing this, and therefore we take it very seriously. I will pray my oversight, Lord, and we will make sure that this goes well.
Thank you so much. That has been Mwea, Member of Parliament, Wachira Kavina, of course, touching on a number of issues, of course, the oversight of the funds that are being allocated to farmers, and the leaders are continue streaming in here. We've seen the Deputy Governor for Nyeri and also the Deputy Governor for Laikipia, John Mwaneki, also in attendance. And of course, we will be bringing you all the details of this event in our consecutive bulletins. But for now, over to you, Zeynab, in studio.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much, Melita Oletenges, for that. And in Eldoret, Bishop Dominic Kimengich has officially been installed as the Bishop for Eldoret Diocese in a ceremony conducted according to the Catholic Church beliefs in Eldoret town. And Lois Ongoi now joins us live with more details on that. Lois, a very good afternoon to you. All right, of course, I think there's a bit of a technical hitch there. We will be joining Lois for more details in just a moment once we fix that. But before that, Molo residents, and this is a story that of course we're also following up, and Molo residents are appealing to security organs in the area to increase night patrols following Friday night's attack on a couple living in the area. Neighbors to Bishop James Gitonga say they found his son and his daughter-in-law writhing on a bloody floor after a gang attack that left the two of them with deep cut wounds to their heads.
That's a lot of blood.
Amekatwa pale kichwa nyuma, pale amekatwa vizuri, na pia katika mkono wake. Nadhani alipokuwa anajaribu kujikinga, walikata mkono wake karibu waguche kidole hiki kikubwa, naye mke wake akagongwa upande huu ambapo alisirahi, na pia vidole vyake vimekatwa.
Na wanaimba mchana na tumesumbuliwa kabisa. Sasa ninashindwa tutapotelea wapi, ama tutafanya ama tutahama Kenya gani, tuende Kenya gani sijui, kwa sababu security is very low here.
Well, the 4th Regional Building Bridges Initiative rally is being held today at Kitui Stadium in Kitui County. ODM leader Raila Odinga, leaders from Ukambani region and from various parts of the country are expected to grace the event, and Vincent Odwori is currently there. Will be bringing us more details on that. Let's just listen in.
Now here at Kitui Stadium for the 4th Building Bridges Initiative regional rally here. This is something that has brought together leaders from Ukambani and also leaders from other areas in the country to participate in today's BBI rally. A number of governors have already arrived here. I've seen Homa Bay Governor Cyprian Awiti. I've also seen, Nyamira Governor John Nyagarama is already here. We also have, Siaya Governor Cornel Rasanga is also already here. And these are just a number of leaders who are already here. So basically, we'll be able to see what they're going to talk about today in terms of the BBI report, because this is geared towards making sure that the Kamba leaders have a common position as far as BBI is concerned. And therefore, today we have seen for the first time, we know Makueni Governor Kivuta Kibwana and ODM Wiper leader, and Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka together with also the governor, together with other governors combined who have not been seeing eye to eye for quite a while. Today, for the first time, they're going to share a podium here, and they're going to tell us what they're going to do in terms of what is happening here in Makueni. But just a minute, we cross.
All right, of course, those are the events in Kitui Stadium in Kitui County for the Building Bridges Initiative rally. That is the fourth of its round. Of course, we'll be joining Vincent later on to give us more details of that expected event. Of course, it's continuing. But just back to our Eldoret studios and of course, in Eldoret, Bishop Dominic Kimengich has officially been installed as the Bishop for Eldoret Diocese in a ceremony conducted according to the Catholic Church beliefs in Eldoret town. And Lois Wangui now joins us live with more details. Lois?
A very good afternoon to you. We are coming to you live from Eldoret here in the county of Uasin Gishu, and we start by apologizing for that earlier technical hitch. We are at a ceremony where Bishop Dominic Kimengich has officially been installed as the Bishop for Eldoret Diocese here for the Catholic Church. That means he will be serving and leading Catholic faithful drawn from the counties of Uasin Gishu, Nandi and Elgeyo Marakwet counties. This particular ceremony to install Bishop Dominic Kimengich began at about 11 a.m. and it was led by His Lordship Cardinal John Mwea, who is the leader of the Catholic Church here in the country. The ceremony was very, very picture-rich and full of beliefs from the Catholic Church. In that particular ceremony, we were able to note that the Bishop Dominic Kimengich was asked to kiss a crucifix as part of the ceremony. Of course, the cross being a very significant item according to the Christian belief, and he did kiss that crucifix. This to show his acceptance to shepherd Catholic faithful drawn from these three particular counties. We were also able to gather that before he was installed into office, Dominic Kimengich, Bishop, was asked by Cardinal John Mwea if he accepts the offer to serve as the Catholic Bishop for this particular diocese. And he noted yes, and there are quite a number of other events that took place after that. Already that particular ceremony has ended, and now the church has handed over this particular event to the political folk that has arrived here, being led of course by Deputy President William Ruto. We'll be coming back to you live with more updates and briefs from this particular ceremony.
So much, Lois Wangui there from Eldoret. And away from that to other stories making headlines internationally. Brexit is finally here. After over 1,000 days of political turmoil, the United Kingdom is now the first nation to have divorced the European Union. Britain's departure comes after 47 years of membership in the EU, taking a leap into the unknown in a historic blow to the bloc.
Midnight Friday. Brexit. Prime Minister Boris Johnson's address to the nation, where he promised Brexit was not an end but a beginning, was shown on a big screen. The main shopping street was decorated with small British flags, and Brexit voters voiced relief and met Brexit with the same unbridled joy and tearful anguish that was felt across the streets and pubs of Britain on Friday night. Britain's main television channels tried to reflect the historic nature of a night delayed by years of political wrangling and indecision. But several newspapers used the occasion to reflect on the intense passions Brexit stirred up over the past 3.5 years. After the transition, the UK is planning a point-based immigration system which will affect anyone, whether from the EU or not. The UK and EU will use the next 11 months to negotiate a new relationship.
And of course, very interesting times ahead for the EU. Will be keeping base and of course keeping a close eye on what will be happening there. But away from that, let's now take a look at stories making headlines in the world of sports. And Brian Otwal is here just for that. Brian.
Thank you so much, Zeynab. And we start off with Harambee Stars winger Ayub Timbe, who has officially been confirmed at the English Championship side Reading FC. The forward has been training with Reading and did enough to convince the club to take him up on loan from Chinese side Beijing Rene. Timbe becomes the team's second major signing in the transfer window, following the Brazilian midfielder Felipe Araruna from Sao Paulo. Meanwhile, deadline transfers has also seen Manchester United sign former Watford striker Odion Ighalo from Shanghai. The only big money move of the lowest spending Premier League January transfer deadline day since 2010. And Posta Rangers take on Bandari at 2 p.m. at the Kenyatta Stadium, Machakos, in the Kenyan Premier League early kickoff, which has 3 matches lined up in round 19. Posta are unbeaten in the 4 of their last 5 matches, drawing once and winning 3, leaving them 8th on the log with 28 points. The Dockers, on the other hand, are in poor form, having lost 3 consecutive matches. KCB will seek to record their 4th consecutive win when they play Zoo FC at the Kericho Green Stadium, while at the same Western Steamer will entertain bottom side Chemelil Sugar. And the Kenya national team, that is Shujaa, have failed to advance to the Sydney 7 semi-finals after losing both their opening games this morning. Paul Finney's Chargers had 2 players sent off and blew away at 21. The clash called off after the Kisumu team was involved in a road accident with no major injuries reported. In other fixtures this afternoon, leaders Kabra Sugar face playoff chasing Mwamba and have a chance to complete the season double over them in Kakamega. Harlequins travel to Ruaraka to take on champions KCB. Third-placed Homeboys play Nakuru RFC in a closing encounter of a double-header fixture at the Jamhuri Park. Menengai Oilers knock heads with languishing Western Bulls, while relegation-threatened Black Blood host 4th-placed Impala. And 8 matches are lined up on Saturday this afternoon in the English Premier League, with runaway leaders Liverpool welcoming Southampton at the Anfield Stadium at 6 p.m. The Reds will seek a 6th consecutive league win against the Saints, but will have to do so without services of deadly Sadio Mane, who suffered a muscle tear. In other matches, Chelsea travel to face third-placed Leicester City at the King Power Stadium. Manchester United will welcome Burnley at the Theatre of Dreams in the late kickoff. West Ham will battle it out with Brighton, and Newcastle will entertain bottom side Norwich City. That's the latest in sports, but much more in like 20 minutes or so on Top Sport as we discuss sports and much more right here on NTV. Join me later on. Back to you, Zeynab.
All right, thank you so much, Brian Otwal. Of course, we'll be joining you much later. Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this hour. Many thanks for keeping us company. My name is Zeynab Ismail. Have yourself a lovely, lovely Saturday afternoon.